Sigma men who have dealt with trauma in their past are likely to cope with that by appearing indifferent to it. They can attempt to bury those emotions, since focusing on their own inner feelings is not as natural for them. Instead, they prefer to focus on logic and things that are more tangible, rather than things that they don't have proven methods to cope with. Emotions can feel difficult to tackle for Sigmas, which is why processing their trauma is often a challenge for them in life. If they have endured something truly traumatic, Sigma males are likely to act as if they are fine with it, and have moved on. Behaving as if this is just in the past and something which happens to many people, doesn't necessarily mean that the Sigma man is handling it as great as he would like it to seem. When it comes to experiencing trauma, everyone has their own ways of handling and coping with what they go through. Of course, it often requires certain help from others, and serious trauma can also require therapy to find tools and ways to move through it. There are so many different types of trauma, and some happen so subtly that we don't even realize we have endured a truly traumatic experience. It can be difficult to process, especially when you are still involved in the trauma that brings you down. This is something that can affect someone's behavior long-term and make certain personality types behave in ways that don't seem to really fit who they normally are. This is why it's important to understand the different ways that trauma can change someone or alter their behavior. Sigma male childhood trauma. Dealing with trauma from a young age will definitely alter the way Sigma males view the world. They likely become withdrawn, and don't really know how to respond to people in social settings, and can even be prone to certain outbursts. The Sigmas will feel like they cannot rely on or trust others, struggling to allow themselves to be vulnerable. While this is something many Sigma men can deal with, healthy Sigma men find it easier to open up to someone once they trust them. They might never be expressive people, but they do seek out connections and want to feel close to someone. Trusting becomes much harder for Sigmas who endured trauma during their childhood, especially if they have not found a way to process and deal with this experience. They likely are seen as strange children, since they don't express what is wrong with them, and can appear rather stoic. Sigma males can feel misunderstood from a young age, and dealing with trauma definitely does not improve this. How trauma changes the Sigma male. Sigma men are normally very rational people who prefer to focus on facts and logic, while the Sigma who has endured serious trauma may exhibit different behaviors. They can find themselves slipping into their shadow more than anything else. This version of the Sigma starts to place a serious weight on morals, and what they believe is right or wrong. They are likely extremely stubborn and unmoving, and find it difficult to change their minds about anything. Immature Sigma men do have a stubborn side, but they are capable of hearing people out if they present them with accurate information. The Sigma who has been abused and has not processed this trauma is likely to struggle when it comes to seeing beyond his own point of view. They stand firm on these morals and ideals they have developed, and don't allow anything to make them waver. This can sometimes cause them to overlook things they would normally perceive as factual, in favor of those inner morals and beliefs. The immature Sigma man might even show signs of more reckless behavior, indulging in things that feel good, rather than things they should be focusing on. Normally they would be drawn to building a future, and seeing how their actions will alter this, but serious trauma can hinder this desire for the Sigma. Some Sigma males who find that this trauma continues to fester, go a completely opposite route, and become disconnected from morals entirely. They focus on things they can tangibly process, but do this to such a severe degree that they don't have much care for how it can affect others, or if it is a morally good choice. Sigma male coping with trauma. For some Sigma men, coping with this trauma can be a challenge, as dealing with and processing it the right way might not be their go-to response. They might ignore this trauma for a long time, preferring to focus on things that make more sense. Of course, ignoring and neglecting their inner pain does not make it go away. It often just makes the Sigma men feel rather numb and disconnected. They likely distance themselves from others, and find that they are going through the motions when this occurs. It is important for them to actively seek out means of healing. Sometimes professional help is necessary in this case. Continuing to go through the cycle of denying their feelings or trauma will only make the situation worse for them as time goes on. Connecting with people who understand and can relate is actually surprisingly helpful for Sigma males, even if they can be hesitant to this at first. Feeling a sense of connection, and not allowing themselves to completely distance from the world, is often necessary for the healing process. It takes time for anyone to heal when they have dealt with trauma, but understanding that it is normal, and not feeling disconnected, are important ways to move on. Sigma men needs to recognize that it is illogical and inefficient to just bury those feelings inside, as no one is capable of just moving on, without finding a way to process what they have been through. Ways to heal their trauma. 1. Acknowledge and recognize the trauma for what it is. The only way they can begin healing is to acknowledge that a traumatic event did occur, and that they were not responsible for it. 2. Reclaim control. Feelings of helplessness can carry well into adulthood, and can make them feel and act like a perpetual victim, causing them to make choices based on their past pain. There may always be a battle between past and present, but as long as they're willing to let go of the old defenses and crutches they used as a child to navigate their trauma, Sigma males will be able to reclaim control of their life, and heal their pain. 3. Seeking support and no self-isolation. A natural instinct that many Sigma men trauma survivors have, is to withdraw from others, but this will only make things worse. A big part of the healing process is connecting to other people, so they need to make the effort to maintain their relationships and seek support. Talking to a trusted family member or friend may help them. 4. Taking care of their health. Their ability to cope with stress will increase if Sigma men are healthy. They need to establish a daily routine that allows them to get plenty of rest, eat a well-balanced diet, and exercise regularly. 5. The meaning of acceptance and letting go. Just because Sigma males accept something, doesn't mean they're embracing their trauma, or that they like it or agree with it. Acceptance means they've decided what they're going to do with it. Sigma men can decide to let it rule their life, or they can decide to let it go. Letting go doesn't mean it's magically gone. Letting go means no longer allowing their bad memories and feelings of a bad childhood to rob themselves of living a good life now. 6. Replacing bad habits with good ones. Bad habits can take many forms, like negativity and always mistrusting others, or turning to alcohol or drugs when feelings become too hard to bear. Bad habits can be hard to break, especially when used as crutches to help Sigmas avoid reliving the pain and trauma of their childhood. 7. Being patient. Sigma men need to be patient with themselves and honor their progress, no matter how small it may seem. It's the little victories in their recovery that will eventually help them win the battle of healing their childhood trauma.